Oh yeah, this morning you won't have to see my face, but I want to talk about one or two of the things that we've been looking at over the winter. Now, if you can see, this is where I've seeded my mosses around the pond. They're actually doing very well. You wouldn't believe that I actually transplanted these. They look perfectly happy with where they're growing. Now the whole idea is to find some mosses to colonise all these rocks. Now, these rocks are ironstone. They're not particularly beautiful, but what they do add is a lot of colour and texture to it. So as you can see, these mosses are settling in nicely now. Now the thing I'm very keen on, and whether it's right or wrong, is I choose mosses that are a good colour, and the brighter the colour the better for me, because it goes a better contrast on these stones. By the way, that's an old tree fern log sitting there, which I broke my heart rate when that died. But saying that, being me, I've raised loads of babies, and there's one of the babies behind it growing away nicely. And a mixture of ferns here: Blacknums, Cyathias and Dixonias, and one or two others that are sneaking around in the undergrowth. And this thing, I have no idea what sort of fern it is. It's popped up in a pot or something else. And there you've got my oldest tree fern at the minute, and it's growing along nicely there, forming a nice crown. Now a lot of these are going to get kiboshed through frost. This has been frosted. This is quite a temperamental fern, and it does get burnt back quite badly. But the worst thing that's been burnt back is my echium. Look at that. I'm not too worried. Look at the stem, really thick. You won't believe that's only 2 years old. Worthwhile growing. Tiny seeds, quite expensive. So if you flower one, save the seeds yourself. And you can see one or two of the other ferns are doing well. Now they've put up with the frost quite happily. Well, if not happily, they've tolerated it well. And along with one or two other things. Mind the dinosaur. And then you can see that's one of the Windermere palms. So that's Trachycarpus fortunei. There's several cultivars of that, so some are a little bit more temperamental than others. And this log here, well, I've left it across there. I wanted to grow the mosses up it, but as you can see, a little bit of colonisation's taking place on the mosses, and eventually I want this whole area to be dripping with moss. Now what I wanted to show you, unfortunately I can't at the minute because it's too shiny, surface of the water, but the newts have started to move in again, so hopefully we shall have another little crop of baby newts, which is really good for your garden because they nosh up all the baby slugs as they appear. So anyway, it's just a recap on the pond. Pond's nice and clean this time of year. I've kept it reasonably clean. I shall probably leave a bit of the weed in now, and that's what all the newts like to stick their eggs in, and then we end up with tiny newts. There's a good population of daphnia and one or two other things growing in there, so that's fine. So that'll do me for now. The one thing that you might want to see, it's not always easy. There, Christmas roses, well worth growing, along with one or two of the other bulbs. They tell you spring's definitely on its way. And by the way, these are not actually dead leaves, they're the spore bearing special fronds, so they're actually not deformed, they're meant to look like that, and they're the ones that shed all the spores to grow me baby ferns for next year, and the year after that. Okay, well that's a short grow joe today. Quick look at the pond, and I'll do a long shot so you can see how it looks in its surrounding. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, this is just a rabbit run for the winter. So there's a big hairy bunny sitting in there somewhere. Alright, one of my kids' bunnies. Anyway, that's it for now. So we'll talk some more tomorrow.